Well, hello, and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host, Tracy.
Hey y'all, happy anniversary.
Yes, talk about it.
So I can't believe that we started this podcast. We had our first podcast episode debut January 15th, 2024. I cannot believe it's been a year. And what a year it's been.
It seemed like it was longer. It felt like we were coming up on our second anniversary or something, but it felt like we have already did a complete 2 years. That's what I mean more than anything. But yeah, it's been full.
It has been. It has been. I mean, we started on a super high with amazing guests, a nomination and a win for Best Local Podcast from the Motif Awards last year. I'm still riding high off of that. So I'm just like, ooh, will we get another nod this year? I'm kind of
No, I'm like waiting.
yeah, yeah. It
Nominate
just
ourselves. No,
yeah.
we can do
Listen,
that.
you know what? I think we got a strong enough following that
Yeah, because
folks
we
will
didn't
get.
nominate ourselves the first time
We
around.
didn't. We didn't have to do. We were shocked the last
Mhm,
time. So yeah, I think we might be able to get back. I don't know. I think we can be a contender again this year.
mhm. And I had and in us along with other Rhode Island podcasters, which I actually listened to. y- We're both a big fan of like Please Don't Delete This podcast.
Yeah.
Then there have been a lot of great voices coming out of Rhode Island the last year. So we hope that they all continue and be successful. And I do like the idea of us, crossing over and being on other podcasts, inviting them to be on ours. That would be fun.
So it's funny you should mention that
So,
we have this intersectionality with all these great creatives because we're always saying Rhode Island is such a creative hub. Like I feel, and I'll say this again, y'all can write this down. Make sure you record. I said this today that we are going through a renaissance right now in Rhode Island. I think it's not really. It later on it will be acknowledged the renaissance that's happening right now with creatives of color in Rhode Island, but funny you should say that because Sarah, or I should say Sara, because that's actually how you pronounce her name, Simplemente Sara. She's a spoken word artist, an educator, like a really deep woman. I met her for the first time last year at the Motif Awards, and she just had a presence.
mm,
Like she walked in, her fit was like singing. Her whole outfit was like eating down, and then she had her two children with her, gorgeous children. Like they just were like I can't even talk like I can't really put into words like what it was. I was just like drawn to this woman. She's actually a huge part of Fundafest, which I've been partaking in since last Friday.
so talk about Fundafest. What I
So
mean,
yeah, Fundafest. It's their 27th year in Rhode Island. And I
doing Fundafest in Rhode Island. That's
doing
crazy.
Fundafest in
Hmm.
Rhode Island. And I've been here 6 years, and I'm sure I probably have seen information, but I just never, got a chance to actually do something or go to
Hmm.
any of the events. But Sada invited me this year, and I was like, yeah, because we always try to promote things that are going on in the community. And I said to myself, I'm going to make a concerted effort to really go because she really is a good supporter of us. She's always liking our posts. She's always like retweeting our posts when I'm around her and around other people. She's like, you got to meet Tracy. She has a podcast. You got to, talk to her, that kind of thing. So she's like one of those people who's really supportive and a really good connector. So I actually have the program from Fundafest for this year. So this year is Fundafest 27, and it started January 17th, which was Friday. They had a kickoff, and then it's over this January 26th. So you still have a few more days to participate. But the kickoff party, first of all, the drum circle, amazing. Like, if you've ever heard a drum circle, like people doing music, just and this was just guests who had gathered there. So this was not
Oh, they
pre
weren't even part of it.
no, they had the drums there and they invited people who were attending to come and
Hmm.
drum. And when I tell you, they had everyone was on the same beat, and it was small children, it was older people, it was adult. everyone just was on the same page,
Mm-hmm.
drumming in a circle. It was so powerful. But the whole point of Fundafest is that it's in collaboration with the Rhode Island Black Storytellers. I
Mm-hmm.
love a good story. You know, I rave about the moth, and the reason I
Mm-hmm.
love it is because of storytelling. So that's what this is. This is in collaboration with the Rhode Island Black Storytellers and Outspoken, which is Sada's outfit. So there was music, there was storytelling, poetry. That was Friday night. Again, last night I went back, and that was like Sada's highlight. And then there'll be more. There's actually a liars contest on Friday.
How was last night? Because I saw that there was like adult stories
So
last
the
night, like adult story section or whatever.
well, the adult stories is actually this weekend. I got to thumb through the program. Okay, so actually the storytelling for grown folks. Oh, you're
Okay,
right. That was Saturday night. I missed it. Oh, they're doing it again on the 25th.
the 25th.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
'cause
there's two.
I've had events since Friday every day, and I
Listen, your
was
weekend been lit.
unable to
We
make
about
it.
to dive into your weekend because your weekend was kind of lit too. So in any event, if you want more information, fundafest.org. The schedule is jam packed. I actually bought the pass because I wanted to do as many or as few things as I wanted to, and I ended up like you said, I've already done two activities, and there are two more to the point now where my husband's like, "How come you didn't bring me?" I'm like, okay, you can fall through if you want to. And some of the activities are free, some you pay at the door, but it's been wonderful. I was amazed.
So, what are the two events coming up? Because those are the last two, right? So it's just two events
No,
coming up.
no, ma'am. Wednesday, January 22nd, they're going to be at Community Flavors at Oasis. Thursday, they'll be at Urban Legends. Friday, they'll be at the Cape Verdean Progressive Center. These are all evening events, like either they start at 6, 7, or 8 o'clock. So
But
Friday.
what are the programs?
So Wednesday and Thursday, it just says community flavors.
Oh,
And
okay.
then Thursday says urban legends. Friday is the liars contest. Saturday is the free family fun day. That's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's all inclusive, all ages. Great
Mm-hmm.
way to get the kids to run around and get tired that day and build community. Saturday night, the 25th, is storytelling for grown folks from 7 to 10, and then wraps on Sunday with Sacred Tales at CCRI Liston campus. So, yeah, fundafest.org. I honestly, last night it was from 7 to 10. I forget what the hours were, but I
Mm-hmm.
kept saying, "Well, okay, I'm getting up and no, it was from 4 to 7." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting to leave after, this segment. I'm gonna leave." I stayed the whole night because every time I got ready to leave, they drew me back in. Anna
Okay.
Paola songs.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you her voice, and she sang a Bob Marley song last night, I was
Who was
thinking
it that you met? Who?
Anna Paola songs. She's a
Okay.
singer.
She's a Rhode Island based
Wrote
or
Yes. Oh my
okay.
gosh, beautiful voice. She sang the song about whiskey. What is it? Smooth like whiskey song. I Don't ask me what the name of the song is. Beautiful. Her voice was velvet.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna try and make one of the events this week.
Yeah,
Saturday
I'm
sounds good.
interested. The Liars contest. I really want to see what that's all about. It
What
sounds
that's
very
all about.
interesting. Yeah.
What's that, Friday night?
Friday night.
Friday. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty clear for the weekend. But what I did this weekend, well, was really good. It was a really testament in, sisterhood. My mom had what she called a Jollof contest, but she had two of her friends, one from Ghana and the other from Nigeria, and they were going to teach us African Americans how to make, jollof in their from their different countries, but only one showed up. So we did end up making it and had chicken, and then we had like a big brunch before. But it was so, I was shocked at how many women actually showed up to participate, and a lot of people who I hadn't seen since like my childhood.
Oh wow.
People, young women that I grew up with, some that I babysat, and we were all just talking about like, what we want in these like next 4 years, because everything does come back a little bit to politics.
Yeah.
And but we didn't talk about politics. We talked about sisterhood and what we wanted to have for each other, what we wanted to contribute to the community. And I just walked away so inspired. You know, it was a great brunch. Um, just much more than I had anticipated. And today I went to the Boston um MLK breakfast. Your girl Ayanna Presley was there. She
That's
excellent
my
speaker.
dog. I love Ayana.
Excellent speaker, and she really was really good today. The guest speaker was Angela Davis, and I want to say Angela Davis was fire.
Of
Diana
course.
Presley just burnt the house down, though. I will give it to her. She did. And then, shockingly enough, another senator was there, Ed Markey, I think
Yeah.
his name. What him? He was there, and he was excellent.
Listen, these people,
Absolutely, I mean, excellent. The way he burnt up Trump and like other Republicans without ever saying their name, because that's what I was like, we need to have a day where we don't even say this person's name. We know that we're gonna have to be dealing with a lot of stuff, but they did a lot of comparison about like the message and what MLK was about and how Trump is the total antithesis of that. He's just absolutely the what did Ed Markey say? You know, he wants to bring us back to a dark and dirty past where we're all fighting for our lives, trying to get to a brighter future. And because so many people that he has conned into believing in that dark and dirty past being better for them, that here we are struggling all over again. One of the things that they did at the breakfast is they sing like old spirituals, and
okay.
we all like they had the words up, and we were all singing them together, but it was really kind of depressing that you're singing "We Shall Overcome" in 2025 and it have that much meaning, you know,
Right.
because if we had sing that like, you know, when Obama or any, or even if, you know, during Kamala's, you know, run or whatever, it felt different because we know that democracy is doing its best. Now we know that democracy is like is on its last leg. So singing "We
Yeah.
Shall Overcome" on Martin Luther King Day in 2025, it hits much sadder, you know. So, but it was a good weekend, and I really
Yeah.
enjoyed being with a lot of Black people who realize that, you know, this it was a mixed crowd, of course, but I just enjoyed the sisterhood and the brotherhood that, you know, we all came together, and the speeches were just inspirational. So,
That's what's up. I love a good MLK breakfast, but if I get a chance to sleep in, sis gonna sleep in, and that's what I slightly slept. I didn't sleep in that late. I was up like 9:30,
Yeah,
and
that's what
since
time the breakfast started.
yes, child. I was not going to be in Boston at that hour. Plus, we had this supposed snowstorm that was coming through that was going to like knock everything flat. So mentally, I kind of was like, I don't
Checked
know.
out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But thankfully, in Rhode Island, in Providence anyway, we didn't get that much snow. It was like a little
Yeah.
bit of ice, because it rained so much last night. It was like a little icy, a little. But I just drove right out the driveway. We cleared the car window
Hmm.
out, and because we're semi-empty nesters, had a date afternoon instead.
Hmm. Okay, that's
Yes,
nice.
so we
Yeah,
went
I
to the
mean, I
movies.
just I didn't drive right out. We had a little bit more snow. It was definitely a lot of buildup, you know, like when the
Okay.
plow goes by, that buildup that comes at the end of the driveway. So I don't just run over it. I need to have that moved. So my son actually removed that for me, but it wasn't as bad. And Boston wasn't bad either. It's just congested. But it wasn't as congested as it could be because it was a Monday and it's a holiday, but there was still a lot of people out this morning.
Oh,
So,
people were I like it was so busy
hmm,
when we went out. We did take in a movie. We went to see One of Those Days with SZA and Kiki
I
Palmer.
want to go see that. Was it funny?
So funny.
Hmm.
I loved it. I would probably
Hmm.
go see it again. That's how much I liked it.
That is fun. I'm waiting for $5 Tuesday, maybe tomorrow.
Okay. We did we well we got I started to do the senior citizen. I was like, "How old are you again, babe?" He was like, "Don't play with me." But
The
we I think we paid like $12. It was worth the $12.
hmm
Yeah.
That, yeah, I wanted to see that, and I said that was one of the movies I was gonna go actually see in the theater because we don't get that much in the theater and
I wanted to
always waiting.
support. Yeah, I wanted to
Hmm
support. And that and Issa Rae is behind this. We're
hmm
big, pals of Issa on this show. We always big up her efforts. And I'm a SZA like super fan. So I had to go support my girl SZA and Kiki Palmer. They all did amazing. Cat Williams was in it. Janelle Jones was in it.
Oh,
Janelle
she was
James. I'm
too?
sorry, Janelle James. Yes. She was in it. Who else? Oh my gosh, my girl Vanessa Bell Calloway, who I've always just thought was the most gorgeous woman in the world since
Hmm
coming to America. Like she still just has that beauty to her, and I just like the way that they cast this movie
hmm
because it wasn't a bunch of like plastic people, if that makes sense. It was
hmm
real looking people,
hmm
in all of the roles. Everyone looked like a normal person that you would actually see in the community. Yeah.
So SZA is Palmer's co-star.
Yes,
So
they're
that's
best
okay.
friends. Yes.
Okay.
So they have equal billing on this movie and they
hmm
have equal, parts in the movie. So they're best friends trying to make the rent. It's the first of the month and an incident happened where the rent didn't get paid and they had until the end of the day to come up with the rent money. So there's shenanigans and all the chicanery that goes on with them
hmm
trying to acquire the rent money before the end of the day. And of course, many pratfalls
hmm
happen. And I was just amazed, SZA not being a traditional actor, that
hmm
she was able to pull off physical comedy, emotional moments. Like there wasn't a point in the movie, because I'm very critical when I'm
hmm
watching acting. There wasn't a point in the movie where I thought to myself, this is terrible acting. Because that's normally what I'm thinking. If I see someone in their first acting debut, I'm just kind of like, this is what they could work on. Granted, I'm sure she could work on a lot of things, but for her first time, like she was on par with Kiki. I felt like she kept up with Kiki in
Because
this.
Kiki is amazing. She
Fantastic.
has chops, she has range, and if she's on par with her in her first movie, that's saying a
Yes.
lot.
I'm excited to see more to come from SZA, but I'm glad that, we could take this day and make it about, flipping it to a positive and what we can do and what's down the line. And I got to ask you a question about the Jollof kickoff,
Mhm.
even though the other person didn't show. Which nationality showed up to prepare the recipe?
It was
Nigerian or
it was
Ghanaian?
it was Ghana that showed up.
You know.
So, and I can't say which one is better. I've had the Nigerian because a coworker of mine, she brought some in and
Yeah.
I did taste that, but I would have to have them side by side to be able to, tell the difference or whatever. But it was very hers, I thought, compared to the one I did have, this one I felt was spicier, had a
I was
lot.
gonna say, if it's authentically made the Ghanaian way, oh, it's so spicy and delicious.
Yeah, this one, the other one I had, the Nigerian one, it wasn't as spicy, but I don't know if she kind of like mellowed it out because it was like a mixed crowd. I don't know. But for this one, it was very spicy. There were a lot of, really, tasty. See, I could taste the seasoning. It was very good. It was very good.
Listen, if somebody's making jollof, I don't care what country it's from, as long as it tastes good, I'm here for it.
It was good. I was surprised. So and my mom's like, I'm gonna try and do this like every 3 months and invite
I
people
want to
from
be at the
like
next
other
one.
countries. Yeah. And I think the next country she wanted to do was have somebody come in and make some Haitian food because my
Ooh,
sister-in-law had made freedom soup on New Year's Day
yeah.
and they said that she killed it. I know that that's not what they planned on for that day because I think that takes a long time to cook.
The soup
But
Juan, I think they call it, and it's like a pumpkin
it's
based
pumpkin
soup.
based,
Yeah,
yes. She was calling it freedom soup. So I don't know what the French or the Creole name for it is, but she was calling it freedom soup, and that they use it for, to represent their freedom from France, or yeah, because they were the colonies for colonists for
So
Haiti.
if your mom does a Haitian one, they got to make John John. That's the Haitian black rice with the
Hmm.
usually has like green peas in it, and it's a black rice made with, I think they use jasmine for it.
Hmm.
They use like a mushroom seasoning. It is amazing. I'm still to this day like weeping that my sister-in-law moved to Florida, because
Hmm.
anytime they would have an event, my brother and my sister-in-law would have an event, her mother would come over and cook, and she would make
Hmm.
all the Haitian food that I love.
And I'm just gonna say that's what my sister-in-law. So every time we have something, my sister-in-law's mom, she comes over, the sweetest woman, I love her to death. She comes over and she brings something. Now, we had something, I can't remember what it was. Jen told me one time, and it went over the rice. And I was just like, and it
Oh,
was
the
hot
sauce?
as hell.
Yeah, it's not pickles. You had pickles. But I know what you're
That's what it
talking
was.
about.
That's
I can't remember the name of the sauce, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like a garnish. It's almost like has a liquid consistency, but it's not clear.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, if you are gonna have that on the table for people who are not Haitian, please put a label and say this
Listen,
will burn this. It like literally burned my nose hairs.
just
Had
assume
it running. It
just
was
assume it's gonna
fire.
be spicy. Just assume it's gonna be spicy if you pull up to these places, because
Fire.
they'll tell you it's not spicy and it'll still be spicy. Like I'll be eating stuff and my husband
Hmm.
will be like, "Why didn't you tell me it was spicy?" I'm like, "Is it?" And he's like,
Hmm.
"Yes, it's very spicy." I'm like, I don't know."
No, that wasn't spicy. That was just fire. My tongue, and it was Jabril and I. We were both like, we just piled it on because it
Yeah.
looked good, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have
No, that's something. See, again, if it's a
again, but put a
garnish,
label. Put a label.
no, no. If it's a garnish, this is a PSA.
Hmm.
If you're not used to like certain type of ethnic foods, if it's a garnish, put a little on the side,
Hmm.
and then you just dab your fork and
How
you.
about put a label on the
So,
food when you come to an American barbecue so
so
the
wait,
non-Americans would know this is hot. Even if you just put little flames at the bottom of it, help me out.
I told you the story about my friend's mom, right? Before when she came to my house and my mom made. Did I tell this story the last time you told the pickly story? So
Okay.
my mom invited a friend over, and that was also my friend's mom for dinner. Mom, she's like, "Yo, can you make the pig feet?" Because my mom makes like pig feet and all this other stuff, that Honduran food that my mom makes, and my mom's like makes this pepper sauce, is literally called pepper sauce,
Mhm.
and it is a garnish. Is meant just to be used sparingly if you're not used to it, because it uses something we call mutton pepper, which is
Mhm.
kind of like similar to like the spice of a ghost pepper, or like a really hot pepper,
Mhm.
or habanero, something like that.
Mhm.
So my friend's mom is like, "Oh, I like spicy food." My mom's like, "Yeah, I know, but this is really spicy."
See, she gave her a warning. She
She
gave her
gave
a
a
warning.
disclaimer. It was to the point where she had to leave the the meal before it was over because it was so spicy she couldn't handle it. And that happened to my friend when we went to a Thai restaurant. She's like, "I like spicy," and we're like, "Yeah, but this is really spicy." She's
Hmm.
like, couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it because sometimes though, even like when I ordered certain Thai food, I'm like, I want it spicy, but I don't want it Thai spicy.
Yeah.
Because Thai
No.
spicy, I is even a lot for me.
I haven't
Like
had,
super, like the way the Thai people would eat it spicy. I need
yeah.
like
Yeah,
got
I've
it to
had
like a
it
fork for
dumbed
me.
down for me. They're spicy because when I've had Thai food and they said it was spicy, it was spicy. It was a little kick, but it was like chili spicy, not that spicy.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
I,
it
I,
was
I agree
it
with
was
you.
interesting.
If you go to a American barbecue, bringing in your ethnic dishes, people, you need to label, and you need to put how many chili peppers on
That's
there.
what
If
I
it's
said. You
put
was
like
like,
five
no,
chili peppers.
no. No, please label it
Yeah.
because it's right next to like regular. I mean, it looked good,
It was next to the regular coleslaw.
and that's my thing. I love coleslaw.
Okay.
Love, love, love it. That's my favorite, kind of like summertime food
Yeah.
side. Yeah, that was not the ticket, but anyway. So yeah, I think this weekend we all talked a lot about, I mean, a lot happened. The
Yeah.
Can you get into TikTok?
I haven't tried. So for those to catch people up to speed, today is the 20th of January. Before January 19th, which was supposedly the TikTok deadline for when it was going to go off completely, people were complaining that it went off before then. So I don't know when they actually sunset.
I think it did. It went off like a little bit before the 19th.
Okay. So I honestly, and you know how I always end our podcast. I'm like TikTok while it lasts. So when they turned it
And
off,
I'm always laughing like they ain't going nowhere.
so when it happened, I was just like, this is game. I like game recognizes game. So
Thank
when I
you.
ever saw
100%.
when I saw
Just
the
like
thing
that shooting
pop up,
was game, but go on.
look,
Go
when I
on.
saw the thing pop up and say, "Oh, we're working with the Orange Agent Orange," I was like, I'm done. And then when it came back on the next day, conveniently, the day before the inauguration, I was like,
Mhm.
bruh, I'm not even going on TikTok for the simple fact that you're playing in my face now.
That's a girl, twinsies here, because that's exactly what I said. But I still can't get in. I
Now,
still get this
did you
message.
did you delete the app?
I did.
So here's the thing, because my
Okay.
daughter said it this morning. She deleted the app, and when
Hmm.
she tried to go back on, she couldn't get on. I never deleted the app.
Because I deleted the app specifically because of the message, because of like, oh, we're working with the person that started the
Which
band.
sounds
We're working with him. Hmm?
eerily similar to one Mark Zuckerberg's recent messaging, which I was aghast. And you mentioned, like, as a Jewish man, the audacity, but also as a Jewish man married to an Asian woman, the double audacity. The triple audacity is y'all have a family together and you're okay with just hate speech just flying insanely with no fact checking. And okay,
Zuckerberg is that Jewish man who would have been in Germany turning in names
selling
of his
folks out.
own
I'm like,
people,
but here's my
without a
thing.
doubt.
What I said to myself, were you at a Diddy party? Why would you get in bed with this?
But he has always been. And the thing is that here it is, your platform. If it wasn't for Zuckerberg, I'm just saying white supremacy online wouldn't be as boisterous as it is. He definitely opened up the lines for them to be able to speak their hate speech. Now, if you say anything against a white person on there, it's all fire and brimstone. But he literally
And
has
you'll
let
get
white
blocked.
nationalists who talk about Jews, who talk about like they're the downfall of this country, free speech because it benefits him. Like I said, if he was in Germany with Hitler, he definitely would have been giving out names. He doesn't obviously doesn't
So
care.
the platform, didn't he steal the idea from a Spanish guy that was helping him with it? Like, wasn't it a
I
bunch
don't
of
know if he was Spanish, but I
no,
think in the
there was
movie, and
one
people have said that he definitely did steal it.
there was a Latino guy that was involved with the development. It was another guy. I think it was another white guy too. But all
Hmm.
of a sudden, he became the face of it and the one and whatever. I don't respect him. I
No,
don't respect him for what he's doing.
no,
I don't even know who owns TikTok. I don't respect them.
I
And
don't either.
my
I'm
whole
not going
thing,
back.
my
I'm
whole
not
thing is
going
that
back.
if you really thought that this was a detriment to our youth and you thought that they were stealing our data, why, how, and why are they back that quick? What changed?
Exactly.
What
So, like you
changed?
said, game.
Game and also scare tactics. First of all, I could care less if TikTok goes,
Who scares more easily than white people in America?
but people literally have been losing their minds about like all I heard all week TikTok. Honestly, if I never go on TikTok again, I don't care because I can, and if even if Instagram went away, if Facebook went away, so what? Who cares? It's convenient, it's fun, it's entertaining, but it's not like it's not life or death to me. Like I don't feel the pain that a lot of people were feeling when TikTok went away, and they're like, "Oh," and they started posting like best of TikTok videos, entertaining, cute, funny, not life or death. Don't need it.
But I did understand how why some people did, because I know there are quite a few, especially Black women on TikTok who make a very
Oh
good
yeah,
lucrative
financially speaking,
business,
absolutely.
and that was just like stripped away from them, and that was to me that's a power move. I follow this young woman. I don't know if you know her, Tony Bravo.
No.
She's dark skinned and she does makeup for dark skin. And I saw her just
Ooh,
blow up from not. I love her damn videos, but she is on Instagram.
I
So I
ain't seen
will be
her out.
following
Tony
Tony
Brown.
Bravo.
T O
Look her
N
up.
I. T-O-N-I.
Toni.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check
And
out Tony Bravo and follow.
yeah, you definitely have to follow her. I just love her style. I love how she does her makeup, her hair, everything. Really nice young woman. So I did feel for those people who said that, but she never complained about it's going to hurt her pocket.
Yeah.
But there were quite a few that, were saying literally this is going to hurt my pocket. I have all these followers and it's not the same going to Instagram. It's not the same going to Twitter or X or whatever it is now, and there's other platforms that are coming up. So they're not monetized for them yet, whereas TikTok is monetized for them. So I,
Mhm.
I, I got that, but the reason why I can't go back, regardless of how much, there were quite a few that I did follow and did enjoy,
Yeah.
was because the first thing was when I was on TikTok, when I first got on it, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years, loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Extremely entertaining, a time sucker. It will suck all your time, right? And before you know it, an hour has passed. But I noticed within the last year that no matter what I did, my timeline was pro Trump. I would never
Ooh.
engage. I would never engage with people who were pro Trump. I never liked their stuff and I never comment. I would always just immediately block, 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 block. So why did every day I would still go on to my timeline and it would always be basically African American men and
Mhm.
they would be promoting Trump. Or, very rarely they were Caucasians at, basically African American men. So I felt like I knew exactly what was happening because we know that Trump started the whole ban on TikTok. And then when the owner said, look, hey, let's have a conversation. What can I do for you? I felt like one of the things that TikTok did for Trump was promote him freely. So my timeline was all Trump. So I said, you know what? I was already feeling like I'm not going to deal with them anyway. But
Yeah.
then this whole thing and the our president is working on it and I couldn't do it. I'm not going
The
back. I'm
amount
not going
of
back. You're not going to keep playing with me.
so and that's a segue into some other things that have been going on and some people
Hmm.
who have taken like complete 180s on their stance against this man. I was like, honestly,
I know what you're going to
I
say.
don't understand it. I don't, especially if you are someone who already has money and influence. Why are you kowtowing further? For what? More money? More influence? That's disgusting to me.
Are you talking about Snoop and Nelly?
Absolutely. 100 freaking percent. Because there's some dickheads that were already supporting him, like Ice Cube and Waka Flocka. I expect that from them idiots.
Mhm.
And I say that with I'm not even all due respect because I wish Ice Cube hadn't gotten into that conversation. He wasn't really saying that he was leaning towards him, but he was also not leaning away from him. He was like,
Right.
"Oh, I got to hear this man out. What more do you need to
Hmm.
hear, sir?"
Hmm.
Anyway, and Waka
And
Flocka,
that was in 2016.
that was
He
in
didn't you
2016.
he didn't call on you this time around.
He didn't call on you, but and I haven't fact checked all of this, but allegedly they were saying like 2017 Snoop had like a huge stance against Trump and he was like
He
so
did.
against Trump
No, I remember he
XYZ.
obliterated Kanye West and Chrisette Michelle. I mean, he called them effing coons and he obliterated. And I was just like, that. And
And
then to do this,
7 years
to
later,
go this, but even a couple of months ago, he was still dogging Trump. Like,
so
because he
what
was very
changed?
much so
Again,
pro Kamala.
was your big tall ass at a Diddy party? What happened? Did you have baby oil in your pocket? And like, what happened to make you just flip? And now you're performing. You don't have to perform. It's just like you said. These people don't. You don't gotta do anything you don't want to do. Yes, you can get invited, and even if you feel like you don't want to go, and you feel like you want to respectfully decline, I wouldn't have. I would have cussed him the hell out. I could have been a pauper on the corner with a a hole in my shoe and not a pot to piss in, and I wouldn't have took a dime to perform at his inauguration. Why are these men who have influence, especially Snoop, who has crossed over so much? You
Yeah.
have so much influence, not only in the black community, but all communities because you're such a beloved celebrity now. Like,
Hmm.
why would you, why?
A
Why would you
strong
do
fan
that?
base.
Embarrassing.
It is.
Embarrassing.
It is. And I was always a huge Snoop fan. He's funny. Him and
He
Mama
has some of the
doing
best
together,
reposts.
hilarious.
He reposts some of the funniest content. Definitely unfollowed his ass, unfollowed Nelly as well.
And the thing that really pisses me off about Snoop is you know, you're not stupid. You know that what's his name? Musk. He's a big believer in what that science eugenics about how Black Americans do not have the mental capacity, the brain capacity of white Americans. He says that loud and proud. And for Nelly, who got really bent out of shape and was just like, we need to give people chances, he just said that you don't have the intelligence, and Trump co-signs this because he's a white nationalist. He co-signs this and he says these things. Why do they pretend like they don't hear it?
So Nelly did an interview. I forgot who was interviewing him, and they were asking him about it. They were like, "Can you just tell us like what made you make this decision?" And he's just on there so like belittled
He
and
was
baffled, like,
pissed.
"Ah, I didn't realize that I can only perform for the people that you want to vote for." No, nigga, that's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about you literally like going to the big house and shucking and jiving. That's what this is about. It's not about Republican and Democrat. It's about you supporting white supremacy, you supporting the oppression of black people, you supporting the oppression of disadvantaged people who are going to lose potentially their health care, their rights, people be deported, mass deportations, things like that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about like don't is was your head up your ass? Like what, where were you when we were all and I know they have money and I know they have a cocoon, but how long is that money going to last? Where's his flow of income really coming from? I'm
Mhm.
interested to know. Maybe he made great investments, but I know you're not making it off of your music. Like how do you know you're going to be in the position you are right now in 4 or 5 years?
And he's from St. Louis. My family's from St. Louis. St. Louis is a very racist city, right? And for you to pretend, because it's one of those cities that, just like Tulsa, the most progressive black community, which was East St. Louis, and we know what East St. Louis is now because it's very popular for being one of the poorest places. But
Systematic racism.
at one point, it was one of the richest black communities in the state, and
Yep.
they siphoned off the money, they tore down the bridges, they did the same thing that they did to Tulsa, to to East St. Louis. And for you to get up there and pretend like you don't know what racism is, or you need to give this man a chance. We have given this, and this was what I was saying last week. We have given this man a chance week after week, year after year. He has not changed who he is. So why do we still keep trying to accommodate and say, well, maybe this time he'll be a better person? He has already showed us who he is. He has already showed us who he is championing for. He has already showed us that he does not like black or brown people, which is amazing to me that Latinos voted for him in numbers when he is very clear. He's very clear. I don't know why it keeps going over their head. Very clear. He is not pro black brown people at all.
And I'm hearing stories about Latinos who may be here legally, but are afraid to go grocery shopping, are afraid to leave their
They
homes
should be.
because they don't know when they're going to get scooped up. I heard some rumors about during the LA fires that
Mm-hmm.
ICE was swooping in to
Mm.
neighborhoods because they know that people were like migrating out. They were just waiting for people to leave and they were scooping them up at the grocery store, at like random places. This is what I'm hearing. I again, not fact
Yeah.
checked by me. These are rumors I'm hearing,
I
but
would definitely have to fact check that because that would be horrible.
so this is the thing that I'm hearing, and I'm like, imagine you're a parent, you go to the grocery store, your kids are at home. You're like, I'm gonna leave the kids at home. I'm going to the grocery store to go get essentials because we're now staying in a shelter or we're staying in like a temporary environment. And they take the parent and the kids are still at home. Like, the people don't understand the ramifications of this presidency. I don't think people really, aside from their own personal life, I don't think people think long term about what the potential damage is. I do want to be an optimist. I do want to feel like that, good will overcome evil. But even AOC was online talking about the TikTok ban, and politician friends of mine are saying they have their own concerns about what the future holds, because if this is if this is mismanaged, which is very likely that this government will mismanage a lot of things in this country, we're going to have a lot of shuffling and scurrying to do to make it better, to fix the problems that are going to be down the pike. So
And one thing that Latinos and other people who do come into this country legally need to understand, they want to get rid of birthright citizenship. So you come over here from another country and you're illegal or even legal. If you have a child here, that's not going to necessarily make that child an American citizen.
yeah.
So they're really saying that these are the things we want to make this country white as possible. And I know Latinos think that, they can fall under that umbrella because they're light, I guess.
Well, there's a
I don't know.
spectrum. There's a
Yeah, yeah,
spectrum.
there's a spectrum, but but they still look at you, no matter how light you are, as under that brown umbrella. So again, I don't know why it keeps going over your head, but I feel like I'm a little bit more optimistic. Not so much about Trump and this administration. I feel that that's going to be the shit show that we all believe it's going to be. I
Yeah.
believe it is, started even with the ceasefire with Palestine. I mean, people are praising that, you know. I'm just like, wait for it.
First
Because
of
that,
all, bro, how are you going to take credit for that?
I,
How are you taking credit for that? Because you said you threatened them, and it's like, oh, if it's not fixed by the time I'm in office, bro. Do you know how long we've been brokering this deal? You think that was you?
but again, it doesn't he could say whatever he wants to because the 70 million people that voted for him, no matter what he says without proof, they're going to believe him. So again, it is. And then look at who owns the media. Now we have he basically, you can say he owns X, he owns TikTok, he owns Facebook,
That's
he
what
owns
AOC was
Instagram.
saying.
So his message is always going to be out there, and then we're constantly trying to battle it. But when I say that I'm still optimistic, because I don't care about a certain sector of America anymore. I care about my community. That's it. And I feel like, you know, we are given the opportunity, and it's unfortunately, it's very sad that here we are in 2025 again, just trying to fight for just basic human rights.
And think about it. Who's even on the level of an MLK that we can look to today?
Mm-mm,
Nobody. We really haven't had anything like that. Maybe since
mm-mm,
Jesse Jackson, maybe ish
mhm.
in the 80s and 90s. And some people will point to Farrakhan. He's someone that people do look up to, but I haven't really heard much from him.
Because he's
Um,
been ill for a long time.
and he's older, you know what I
He's
mean? And
older.
then there's, I don't know where Sharpton has been. He's probably been out there. I haven't heard.
No, Sharpton, he's on Morning Joe just
He's
about
also
every single
older.
morning. But you don't. But that's when I say that's why we have to be inside community, because they're not going to amplify our voices. There could be
So
a
you know
Malcolm X out there.
what's kind of cool, and this kind of falls back to Fundafest, is that there was so much community in that room, and it was a
Hmm.
mixed crowd. It was predominantly black, but there
Hmm.
were a good number of white people there and a few Latinos sprinkled in, and lots of Cape Verdeans, which was so beautiful to see. There was such strength. I feel like there's so much strength in the storytelling community because
Hmm.
that's going to be our living legacy and recording. So
Yeah.
even if they take it out of the books, even if they don't allow teachers to teach children, the maintenance of the culture can be held in the storytelling. And I really, really love that aspect of it. And there was so much encouragement for young people to have participation in community and
Hmm.
to use their voice through song, through spoken word, through dance. It was
Hmm.
incredible. So some of the performers last night were also young kids. And when I tell you star quality, like I was like, okay, these kids they have some really great talent, but it's that molding and persevering within the community and lifting each other up.
Hmm.
Then there were
Exactly.
items for sale that were like, Afrocentric items. Then there's like a soup kitchen that they hold in the Southside Cultural Center. So if people want to come and have a free vegan soup meal, they have that on a regular basis. There's so much in our community if we tap in. There were grants available through the Department of Health that they were saying there's a $3,000 grant for this. Go on this website. There's grant money available. We need to strengthen and foster our community, and we need to build up within our own community. And that's it. Stop looking outside for the help because
I
it's not
agree. One.
there, and the help that is there is like it's being gate kept.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do this ourselves.
Yeah. And I feel like there are so many different organizations, not between, Massachusetts and Rhode Island. We all need to connect. There has to be a bridge between all of us because we're all fighting the same thing, and we have to
Yeah.
respect each other's fight. But we also need to be able to call on our Massachusetts sisters, like, I need help. I'm doing this program and I need numbers. I need money. I need people to buy these tickets. You guys we need to depend, like you said, we need to depend on each other because we are not going to get it from outside of our community. Here we are, pretty much so back. I mean, I will never diminish the struggle that our ancestors had, like, fighting Jim Crow, fighting after, slavery. We are not at that level, but as far as rights are concerned, we're like knocking on the door of having our rights just taken away. They're using police against us and always have. But so that's why we have to depend on each other to build up our communities, houses, neighborhoods, the whole gambit. So uh, it's it's really sad that in 2025 that's where we are,
Yeah.
but we were also very complacent after Obama,
Yeah,
after the
even
80s.
before Clinton
Yeah, after the
administration.
80s, yeah.
There was a time, there was an era of calmness there where we were like, okay, you
Things are
know,
good.
things
I can
right, things
breathe.
felt good. And I was thinking about it the other day. Growing up, I mean, we learned about this stuff in school. We learned about civil rights. Thankfully, I had an amazing Medco director, Manuel Fernandez, who made sure we understood our Black culture and history, even though we were going to predominantly white school. But I never thought we'd go backwards. It never
Yeah.
occurred to me when I was raising my kids. It never occurred to
No.
me we go backwards. I always thought we will always be going forward. Things will always get better. It never occurred to me that we would flip
Here.
back so far at that.
Mhm.
You know what I
And
mean?
B, with a president who literally is saying we are not as American as he and his people
Now, with that said, I will say we've endured so many years of racist and
are.
terrible presidents who were not here for the black people. So we just again we are not used to seeing it so blatantly rolled out for us, even though I'm sure there were, Reagan wasn't really, he wasn't there for us either, but
Mhm.
he at least had the decorum to keep his racism behind, slightly behind closed doors, you know what I mean?
Slightly.
Slightly, veiled efforts. But this man, he's just out for, and I guess it's for the best that we know what we're dealing with.
And
So
he says he's going after enemies, and America has gone through that with like McCarthyism. So I mean, we've had some serious dark times in this country, and unfortunately, a lot of us don't know the history of this country to say like, wow, that what this person did was really illegal. A lot of the laws and things that we have that have come forth in the last what 60, 70 years is because how dark this country has been, and
mhm.
everybody just wants to celebrate 1776 and just leave it at that one day.
Right. And the fact that people are acting shook because they're afraid of retaliation from the president, that's
Yeah.
so messed up. That
And
is,
the people who are acting shook are the people with the money, which is insane. You can't get weaker than Trump. You really can't because he can. I mean, but then that's white men's version of strength is just bullying, pulling out the guns, stomping you down and keeping you on your neck. It's not about, leading people. It's about
but
tearing
but
down people.
our queen, Mrs. Obama, our first lady, was like, I ain't going. I
And
don't need to be there.
I know she was fit to be tied when she saw her
Listen,
man kikiing next to him.
it's my
Sir,
girl's birthday
look
weekend.
straight ahead.
It's her birthday weekend. She was like, absolutely not. I ain't doing this. She was like, it's my birthday all month. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not doing this with y'all. And homegirl was like, I ain't going. I'm
But a
proud of
lot
her.
of people should have taken this again. We keep normalizing him. We keep accepting his bad behavior. We keep accepting his insults and turning the other cheek. How many cheeks does America have?
It's
Like
it's just incredulous. His behavior is incredulous. It's
it's
kind of like
gutter.
it's
It's
like
gutter and ghetto.
it's like I'm not, this is not really happening. That's how you feel when this is how I feel when I experience him. It's like this is not like, am I in some kind of, am I being punked? Like that's how I feel anytime he
You know,
does anything.
it doesn't bother me as much as you would think. I do not like him, but it's the people who look at him and be like, oh my God, he's a king. Oh my God, Jesus selected him. Oh my God, he's so Christ-like. Those are the people that just blow my mind, that I'm like stunned on because but that's how Hitler was. Hitler was a con artist too. And when you have these discussions with people about history and how history repeats itself, I remember from the very beginning when Trump came in, people were like, you're exaggerating. He's not that bad. You're exaggerating. It's always us, but it's never him. We're always the one that are, being, looking at things too harshly, that it could never happen here. And when we see it happening,
Yeah. Well, unless he changes it, he got 4 years, and that's it. And
like
honestly,
you said, unless he changes it.
but why would you even want to come? You're gonna be like 90. Please let somebody.
But that's not who he is. He's a selfish. He wants to be a Putin. He wants to stay in office. But look how much money they are making. What Amazon just gave Melania Trump what like $90 million to do her life story?
Who cares?
Exactly. No, but so basically, what? what Amazon did is gave her that money so that they could be in their good graces. It's not about
It's
telling
a
any story
it's
or anything. It's buying your proximity to the power.
yeah.
And then men that who you would think would have the strength. Here it is, Bezos. You done built your whole, enterprise, your whole business on the, well, you did have like, rich parents, but you still built it on your own. And you would let somebody like Trump make you feel that you have to buy him? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Again, the weakness of these men.
I'm telling you, I'd rather drop fries than participate in his inauguration. I'm not
We have a whole South African telling our president now what he should do. A whole apartheid South African white man
a
and
foreigner.
sitting next to a foreigner, sitting next to who just got legal because he was for all those years he was an illegal immigrant. So it
Well,
is. It's
I hope those people get what they deserve. And that I
I
have no
do.
follow. Our people have no fallout from it. That's like I hope everybody who brought him in there gets what they deserve. So when he takes away your free health care, when he takes away your welfare, because we know who's predominantly utilizing the welfare system, when all those things go away, and the resilient people of color, as resilient as we are, we're gonna make $1 out of 15 cents. So
And we're gonna
good
feed
luck.
each other. We're
Good
gonna
luck.
make sure that and that's what we have to do. We have to really work with our local government on housing, on healthcare, on maternal health care. There are a couple of people that we're definitely going to have coming up in the coming season of our year two.
Yes.
Definitely that are going to be a voice that we want to amplify because there are a lot of things that we need to do, but we can't do it all. But we
No, we
definitely
can't.
can amplify those voices that are doing it, and everybody needs to be able to jump on board and do something. Pick something and do something. Don't just say and complain and say that it's a bad. Volunteer. Help teach our children because our children need to be taught history because they're not going to learn it any other way. If volunteer at the hospitals because we need advocates there as well. Whatever you can do, do.
Yeah, find
And
your
then
ministry. And you
mhm,
don't have to be part of a church to find your ministry. And that's
mhm,
just whatever your God-given talent is, lean into that. If you're good with computers, try to, do something in tech and make it more equitable for people of color. If you are a caregiver, like Shahida said, go into maybe childcare or go into the healthcare system. There's so many ways. If you're a good orator, be a storyteller, be a teacher, be someone who passes knowledge, and stop gatekeeping. If you get something good, let other people get in. So, I mean, I don't know if Snoop is going to take this blood money and do something good with it, but it's the impression that you're giving that
mhm,
you're on board with the BS. Because even if he took all that money and gave it to the LA fires, it's just like the fact that you showed up for this person. And Nelly, you're
and legitimize his message. That's what
right.
you did. You are standing next to a MAGA guy with a MAGA hat on, and he's saying, oh, Trump brings people together. Who?
But I've said
Who?
it before. Before he was standing on this white supremacy soapbox, this is the same man that was stayed in Vibe magazine, always around some black people all the time, especially the hip hop community. He
Hmm.
stayed in Vibe magazine at a party, hosting a party. But so he likes whoever his minions are. That's clear. Or
His
he
minions haven't been black people in a long time. He used black people to be popular because 80s and 90s that was the thing. Who was having the best parties? Black celebrities. Who was having, the best music and
yeah.
black celebrities. So, he just slid on in there. But and that's another thing too, I noticed too, especially with that group of men, is when they're young, they're liberal. But when they're older and they've made money, their thought is to keep all of their money, they become extremely conservative and selfish. And then that's when the white nationalism kicks in because it's which is amazing. I mean, they've wrote books on it, like why people are liberal when they're young, and then once they get a certain level, white people really do turn really racist as they get older.
And maybe because I don't have billions, I don't know what the fear of losing billions feels like. But I almost feel like there's something there. There's some kind of like rug that's going to be pulled out under some of these people. And it's not just, the white people, it's, these black celebrities that are kowtowing for no reason. I'm like, are you being threatened? Are you okay? Blink twice.
Well, I think it is just the proximity to power. Everybody wants to. You know what? That's we got to have somebody on here to try and explain it because in one way I'm like it's simple, and then another way I'm like there has to be like layers to this foolishness because I don't ever feel like I could be bought. As poor and broke as I am, I don't think I could be bought.
I think I'm a person of integrity too. Now, I guess, everything is, has to be put into perspective. I don't know what the reasoning is behind all of that, but this got me to thinking about like power and celebrity and all the things that come with it. I want to kind of mention the situation that's going on with Wendy Williams. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that. What's been going on the last week with her? So Wendy Williams, huge media icon, like literally the queen of media, not even black media. Wendy Williams is like a force. She did radio, she did television, she had a popular talk show for so many years. And she in most recent years, she kind of got kicked off her own talk show and replaced by Sherry Shepherd. And the reasoning was, Wendy had her battles with addiction, but she also had Graves' disease, a terrible divorce, and a lot of things happened. So because of some of her issues, she was put into a conservatorship, similar to what Britney Spears was put in. And right now, she's being held against her will at some kind of like high-end nursing home.
Mhm. Oh
So
no,
she
I didn't
got
know.
on the radio and she called into the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God, who's actually her former co-host, and she called in and Charlemagne put her on with her niece. They were on a three-way call and she explained everything that's going on, how she literally has like $14 in cash that she has immediate access to. This woman has made millions, if not billions of dollars over the years, but her money is in a conservatorship and one woman controls that money and her comings and goings. She can't leave that facility without permission from those people. Her dad is about to turn 94 years old and she has to ask permission to be let out and they may or may not let her out for that. It's
So
hard.
who's this woman that has conservatorship over?
Someone appointed by the court system in New York City, and there's some allegations that there may be some bribery with the judges and the court system and people getting assigned conservator over people's finances.
It drives me insane because whenever you hear of conservatorship, it's always women. So again, we only got the right to use credit cards, what, in the 70s?
And I think the bank, so I watched Wendy's documentary that she had last
Uh-huh.
week. I believe that someone from her bank called somebody
I can't believe they put her in a nursing home. But again, I've
and
seen
she can't
worse
get out.
happen with men who are out there losing their mind. Remember, Martin Lawrence was in the middle of the street, butt naked, just about. No one put him in a conservatorship. Kanye was out there just dribbling all kind of craziness. No one ever put him in a conservatorship, but like Britney, and then now this, and I think there
So
was someone
Brittany's
else.
father called for that conservatorship
At
and
least that, but at least that was somebody in her
her
family. Just
family.
so this person just comes out of nowhere who has access to all of her money. That's insane.
And
I
her
know I did not hear about
her
that. But I'm
son
just saying, rights being taken away, it's easy to take rights away from women. first. Because look at all the men.
And she cannot get out. She cannot leave the floor she's on without a key card. And this person, if she wants a nail polish, she has to
When
go
did
through this
this
woman.
happen?
So she's been in this conservatorship for at least 2 or 3 years now.
Because I saw a video of her not too long ago. She was in the streets of New York. It was like a couple of weeks ago. And the guy who was supposed to be pushing her wheelchair or something, she was saying like he was moving too fast and whatever. It was a big
And Wendy
thing.
has always been a volatile figure, so her personality is very like robust.
Gruff.
And I will say, even in the interview, she actually broke down in tears on the interview. Um, she doesn't sound like her original self when she was in her full health, but I think
She has a disease.
she has a disease. She's dealing with depression. She's a known alcoholic. Like she drinks really
Hmm.
badly, and they were saying that impairs her ability to make good decisions and to function. That does not mean you can trap this woman into a building and she's literally in prison. Like she's in
And
a
it's
luxury.
2 years?
Yes. And
I was,
her son was in charge of her money. I don't know if he was legally the conservator. And I think Kevin is like 24, maybe. He's a young kid. So one of the things that sent off alarms was that he had a 21st birthday party, I think, and I think she gave him $1 million or told him
hmm
he could spend $1 million. And people were like, oh, he's blowing through her money. So what?
It's her son. I would rather, I mean, if you're going to get ripped off by somebody, I'd rather be her son than somebody from the court.
$1 million. If I was a celebrity and my kid was turning 21, I would, and I had $1 million to blow like that. Heck yeah, I would give my kid $1 million to have a party. It's excessive, but it's not
But that's
cause
her
for
lifestyle.
concern.
She worked for that excessiveness.
That's her only son. This woman had multiple miscarriages
Hmm.
and like horrible road to having this one child that finally was born. He's like a miracle child.
Hmm.
Yeah, $1 million, no problem. Snoop gave his daughter $1 million the other day when she got married.
Hmm.
Is anybody dragging him off to a conservatorship?
They need to after he performed at that damn inauguration party. But hey.
Listen, and his wife, I haven't heard her speak on it. I haven't heard
Hmm.
Ashanti speak on Nelly. I'm just like, where are the strong? So Michelle Obama she's speaking through her actions.
Hmm.
She's at least saying like, my husband can do that, but I ain't finna do that. Where's
Hmm.
Nelly? Where's Nelly's wife? Where's Snoop's wife? Like, why aren't you speaking on this? And why aren't you in the bed with him saying, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
Because that's what I'd be saying to my husband. Are you
Hmm.
insane? Do you know how this also makes our family look? Do you know how this makes the community look for you to pull up there when you don't have to? If you said no, guess what? They would have called, what's her name? Sabrina Carpenter or whoever,
Hmm.
and she would have pulled right up. They were looking for some coons.
They were exactly. They were looking for coons, and you just went chit 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 and chatted on yourself on up there.
Yeah, so I unfollowed Snoop. I unfollowed Nelly. I'm gonna
Hmm.
miss Snoop's content because it was really great on Instagram. But you
Yep.
know what? My
I unfollowed him
integrity
as well.
is more important than getting a good chuckle. I'm gonna get a good chuckle somewhere else.
I can make my damn self laugh. I'm funny.
Right, that part.
But oh well. Well, again, we're done with that.
Done.
But like we said from the very top, we have hope in ourselves. We have hope in our community. We have hope with each other. We have a strong sisterhood. We have a strong connection to our brothers, and that is what we are going to take away from this. That we know that we have to rebuild those alliances within our own selves, in our own group, in our own community. So that's all I'm looking forward to, and I think with the grace of God, I mean, I feel like we will be okay.
We will
We
be.
will be okay.
I'm telling you, I'm so filled in. What one of the things Sada said is she's like, I hope you leave here with nutrients. And I felt like I left with some good, like I felt like I had been poured into. That's why I'm so excited to go to more of the activities this week.
And that's how I felt like after, the breakfast, after my mother's event. That's how I felt like I was poured into. And, it was very emotional because there's no warmth for me specifically than the warmth of Black women. I say that all the time. There's no warmth that comforts me and calms me than, being with, other Black women. And I'm going to lean into that. That
Yeah,
is what I'm going to lean into.
let's
So,
do it. And we
all
and we
right.
still we still can raise some black men that can stand on business. So we still have the ability to
Hmm.
influence black up and coming men and women to stand on business and not,
Hmm.
just turn be a turncoat. But anyway,
And let me be clear about the Black man. I do not believe the narrative that Black men have abandoned us,
no.
because they are right there. The media has chosen to vilify them, to make them, of course they're going to elevate those who have turncoat on the whole community, but that's not the majority. Just like the majority of Black men don't marry white women. But that's what the media wants you to believe. That's what was promoted. So I in no way do I think that our Black men have left us. And I'm like, grateful. I'm going to lean more into that as well, combating that damn narrative that they started that is not true statistically,
Yeah. But
you
also
know.
people of color, minorities, black, Asian, Latino, band together. We
I'm
band
not looking
together.
for you. I'm not looking for you. But if you want to join in, you can. But I'm not looking for you because the numbers also showed what you guys did this last
I'm
election.
talking about those who are down for us and those who
Hmm.
understand the assignment. Let's
Hmm.
go. I open my door to you. One of our biggest podcast listeners is a Chinese woman who hits me up on a regular. Like, I just listened to the podcast. It was bomb. Da,
Hmm.
da, da. There's some amazing, if you can
Oh
call
no,
them.
I always talk about my girls at work. They are all Caucasian and love
Listen,
them to death. I know that, but I'm just saying, as on a whole, I'm not looking for
right? We
anything
not
new.
begging
I'm
you,
not looking. I'm not begging you.
but if
If
you
if
understand the
you know what's
assignment,
right, do what's right.
there you
If you
go.
know what's right, do what's right. So
Exactly.
until the next time,
Until then, you know where you can find us.
where can you find us, Tracy?
Definitely.
Where are we at now?
We are on social media. We are on Instagram and we are on Facebook. We are also on YouTube, and you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. We ain't back on TikTok yet.
She said it. You heard. The queen has spoken. We are not back on TikTok.
No,
Goodbye and enjoy the rest of Martin Luther King's week. Do something productive and be happy.
that's right.
Peace out.